Hey everyone. So, what if I told you we've been looking at health almost completely backwards? Instead of constantly trying to fix the symptoms, the dying leaves of a tree, what if we could get to the source of the problem, the roots? Today, we're going to dig into a totally different way of thinking about chronic disease, starting from the ground up.
But first, to really understand why this new approach is so important, we have to get a handle on the sheer scale of the problem we're facing. And trust me, this isn't just some small healthcare issue. It's a massive, global crisis.
Let's just start with a number that's almost impossible to wrap your head around. $4.1 trillion. That's what the United States alone spends on healthcare in just 1 year. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the entire economy of most countries on Earth.
And here's the really crazy part. A full 90% of that unbelievable amount of money isn't going toward preventing people from getting sick. Nope. It's spent on managing diseases that, as we're about to see, are often entirely preventable.
And this isn't just about money, not by a long shot. This is about people. In 2021 alone, 43 million people around the world died from diseases you can't catch from someone else, things like heart attacks and diabetes. The human cost is just staggering.
So, if we just keep doing what we're doing, where are we headed? Well, the future looks pretty terrifying. The projected global cost is on track to explode to $47 trillion by the year 2030. I mean, that's not just unsustainable, that's a system that is literally breaking.
Okay, so let's just be super clear on what we're talking about here. When we say non-communicable diseases, or NCDs, we're talking about illnesses you can't catch like a cold. Think of the big ones: heart disease, cancer, lung diseases, and diabetes. These are the main culprits.
All right, so we've established the problem is, well, it's enormous. So where's the good news? Where do we find some hope in all this? The answer, it turns out, is in something we all have control over: the lifestyle connection.
It's so easy to hear numbers like that. Trillions of dollars, millions of lives, and just feel completely powerless. It feels impossibly huge. So, with a problem this big, where on earth do we even begin? We begin right here. Not with a miracle drug or some high-tech surgery, but with the choices we make every single day. The source calls these modifiable lifestyle factors, and that word modifiable is everything. These aren't set in stone. We have direct control over our sleep, what we eat, how we move, how we handle stress, and even our relationships.
And this, right here, is the single most important, most hopeful message of this entire explainer. These devastating, incredibly expensive diseases are not just bad luck. They're not just bad genes. For the vast majority of people, they are preventable diseases of lifestyle. That idea changes everything.
Now, to really help this new way of thinking click, the source material gives us this fantastic metaphor. So let's stop thinking about our health as a bunch of separate parts, and instead let's picture it as a tree. In this model, all those daily habits we just talked about, our sleep, our nutrition, our relationships, stress, and activity, I want you to think of those as the roots of your own personal health tree. They are the foundation, hidden underground, but they're responsible for pulling in all the nourishment for your entire body. And now you can see the whole picture. When you have healthy, strong roots, they nourish the trunk. That's all your core biological processes. And of course, a strong trunk supports healthy branches and vibrant leaves. Those are your different organ systems. It's a really simple but powerful idea. You can't have a healthy tree with sick roots. It all starts at the bottom.
Okay, so the tree metaphor makes perfect sense. Lifestyle factors are the roots. But what's the actual physical connection here? How does a bad habit actually turn into a disease? Well, let's walk across what the source calls the inflammation bridge.
This is the key question, right? It's one thing to say that a stressful job and a bad diet are connected to illness, but how? What is the physical mechanism that turns a series of bad days into a chronic disease?
This diagram lays it all out. Just look at the stuff on the left. You've got poor diet, not enough movement, chronic stress, even loneliness. And you can see how each and every one of those things is pouring fuel onto a single central fire: chronic inflammation.
So here it is, the big takeaway. Chronic inflammation isn't just another symptom. It is the bridge. It's the biological process that literally connects our daily choices to these devastating outcomes like diabetes, heart disease, and depression. It's the fire that our unhealthy habits are constantly stoking. Understanding this link, from lifestyle to inflammation to disease,
isn't just some interesting bit of science. It truly represents a revolutionary and much more empowering way for us to think about our health.
You know, there's this incredible quote from Einstein that feels like it was written for this very moment. He said, "A new type of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive." And when you look at this global crisis of chronic disease, you realize we can't solve it with the same thinking that created it.
This right here is what that new thinking looks like in real life. It's about shifting our focus. We stop pouring all our time and money into managing the leaves, the symptoms and the diagnoses, and we start proactively getting our hands dirty and nurturing the roots. It's the difference between managing disease and actually creating health.
So all of this leaves us with one final and very personal question. As you look at your own tree of health, which of your roots, your sleep, your food, your stress levels, your relationships, which of them could use a little more nurturing? Because that, right there, is where the real power to change your health truly lies.